Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Middletown Public School Committee meeting to order on Thursday, November 16th, 2023. All members are present. Mr. O'Connell is upstairs. We're going to go into an executive session. Can I have a motion to go in executive session?
Make a motion to move into executive session.
Second.
No, you gotta read the whole thing. Oh,
Okay. Motion to move into executive session to receive legal advice on the superintendent search and to receive legal advice on the termination of employment relationship with a custodian and potential litigation 42-45-5A2.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be back shortly. Thank you. Okay, my apologies. We have to reopen the open meeting, the public meeting. We read the wrong information to go into executive session. So I'm going to ask for a new motion to go into executive session.
I make a new motion to move into executive session to receive legal advice on the superintendent search, to receive legal advice on the termination of employment relationship with a custodian and potential litigation 42-45-5A2, and to receive legal advice on Council 94 contract.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we'll go into executive session. No vote was taken in executive session. Can I have a motion to seal the minutes?
Make a motion to seal the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next is the public forum. I'm sorry, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, I apologize. I want to also take a moment of silence for Rita Wood and Madeline Holbrook. They were educators and teachers in our district. Great loss to our community, and we send our condolences to both families, the Wood family and the Holbrook family. And we thank the Madeline and Rita for their service to this community for many, many years. So give a moment of silence and our best to those families. Thank you. Okay, the public forum is next. Individuals may address the school committee on only one relevant education-related topic included on the agenda, not related to personnel or job performance, not revealing personally identifiable information regarding students. Individuals may speak for no longer than 5 minutes and must submit a public participation form to the superintendent's administrative assistant prior to the start of the meeting. Non-agenda items discussed under public forum will not be voted upon at this meeting. Do we have any forms?
There's one, but I'm not sure that it is appropriate for the form.
Okay.
I think we can do that. No.
It's a personnel issue.
No, it's a personnel matter. Personnel.
Mr. Fleischman, I apologize, but it's a personnel issue. So,
Yeah.
yes, so I apologize, but unfortunately, I can't have that as a part of the public forum. Okay, thank you for understanding. Okay, next we'll move on to proclamation and awards. It's always the best part of our agenda.
Certainly is.
So we have our principal, Niemeyer, is here, and he's going to announce some student of the weeks.
Good evening, everybody. We have two outstanding student of the weeks from Gaudet Middle School this week. Actually, frankly, two kids that I was surprised haven't been nominated before, but I think it's about time. First up, Samantha Delaley, please. Samantha really does kind of epitomize what Gaudet Great means to us at GMS. Some notable things here from her profile. She's always a leader in class. That's come up a few times in her profile. Her quotable, the sky's the limit, and you should always believe that you can. Something that we should all live by. Her dream job, she wishes to be an archaeologist or some type of scientist because she could work with nature and be able to see other places. The people that she looks up to, often this is, celebrities, whoever, mom and dad, who I think are here with us. So she looks up to her parents for helping her through these years, right? Favorite show? Sound of Music. It's an interesting one. I like that. That's a good one. Recommended reading, any Lois Lowry book. Favorite subjects, no surprise, social studies, because she loves history and geography. And she likes to thank Mr. Goodrow for nominating her as Student of the Week. And Mr. Goodrow did say, Samantha is always a positive influence in the class and strives to make a meaningful difference at the school. We really couldn't ask for anything more. So congratulations.
Congratulations, Samantha. Great job. I'm going to give you a mug, and then we are out of books, but we always give the Students of the Week books. So we will get you, oops, we will get the books to the students at a later date. We apologize with the holidays. It just didn't get in.
We have one more, Jada Ugaro, but she's not with us tonight. So
Okay.
thank you.
So can we give this to you, Mr. Niemeyer,
course.
the for a certificate as well as the mug?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move that out of the way.
Yeah,
Turned on.
I don't need it.
I know, careful.
Okay, next we have Principal Bulk.
Good evening. We have three Student of the Weeks. We have some from the summer that we didn't get to. So we'll start with Lily. You can be first. So this is Lily. She was nominated in first grade, but she's now in second grade. She is a role model in class. She helps all her friends during the day, and she works very hard all day long. And I would say that's true for second grade also. I love her quote, "Hard work pays off." Very important. Her dream job, she'd like to be the president of the United States because she likes to make rules and be the boss, and she can do it in a kind way. I love that too. She likes to eat some tacos, so we could have a little snack together. She looks up to her mom and dad because they work hard at their jobs and they work hard at home. She'd like to meet Simone Biles because she's a great gymnast and she's very honest. She likes to hang out at the YMCA because there's a gym and a pool and she loves swimming. And I have to say, I've been going to swimming with the second graders and her class has gone and she's an excellent swimmer. Her best subject in school is math because she's good at it and she makes her turn her brain on and she likes turning her brain on. So high five because Mrs. Bulk used to be a math teacher. And she'd like to thank Mrs. Coogan because she's a great teacher. And she'd like to thank Mrs. Rutledge. She's a teacher assistant at Aquidneck because she's funny and nice. And Lily's kind, thoughtful with her peers. She works hard throughout the day and does her best work consistently. She loves a challenge and she's a quiet leader in our classroom. So great job, Lily. Very
Congratulations. Good job, honey. Can I shake your hand? Good job. There you go.
Yeah.
Put some hot chocolate in there.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Perfect.
And she has a little sister in kindergarten, which I'm sure will be here soon enough.
Oh.
I'd like to invite Violet up.
Goodness. She's showing. She's showing.
So this is Violet. She was nominated as a kindergartner, and I have to say that's very special because we've never had a kindergarten nominated at Aquidneck School. So it's quite the honor. And she was honored by all of our special teachers, and they said she's a strong student in specials, and she has a positive role model and tries to include her peers in activities. She's always positive and upbeat and ready to learn. She's a pleasure to have in class. And I have to say, I've known you for a few years, right, sweetie? She has the best outfits with lots of sparkle and the
Mhm.
best purple cowboy boots, which I wish came in my size. Her quote is so sweet, and I hope it runs true through all her years at Middletown schools, is she loves her sister. Her favorite thing is mac and cheese. She looks up to her friend Fiona at school because she's fun to play with. And I have to say, Fiona has the same sparkles. They have the same sparkly headband that Mrs. Bulk would like too, but it doesn't come in my size. Her best local hangout, and I have to agree with her, is Frosty Freeze because it's all about the ice cream.
Mhm.
Another math girl. I'm so proud of these girls at Aquidneck School. Math's her favorite subject, and she would like to thank her first grade teacher, Miss Mello, because she's nice, and Miss Mello is very nice. So, congratulations. So proud of you.
Violet, keep up the good work. There you go. Well done. Good job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And our next one is Maggie. Maggie, who's as tall as me if I took my heels off in third grade, but Maggie is the first student of the week for Aquidneck for this school year. She's a third grader at Aquidneck School. She's in Mrs. Dunn's class. She's a role model student who's always putting her best foot forward for herself and others. Her quote, "Be yourself," so important. She'd love to be a veterinarian when she grows up because she likes to take care of pets. Her favorite meal is pizza, and she likes bagel bites. I see the consistency there. It looks good. She looks up to her mom because her mom is kind and helpful. Her best local hangout is the beach because it's calm. I agree with you. She likes to read Charlotte's Web. Her best subject in school is art because it's fun to make things. Mrs. Dunn says her staff member she'd like to thank is Mrs. Dunn because you teach me and I learn. And Maggie's a role model student at her school. In her quiet way, she's always setting high expectations for herself and helping others achieve them. Maggie's always willing to give a helping hand or extend a kind gesture. She's completely self-motivated, which is such an important thing to be in only third grade. And she never needs a suggestion by an adult. She has the kindest heart. So great job. Super proud of you, Maggie.
You're welcome. Keep up the good work.
Keep up the good work.
Sweet. And she's a really good dancer.
Well, thank you so much to the principals and congratulations to all of our students of the week. It's a very exciting part of our meeting. We always like to see our success stories and how well our students are doing. And thank you to all of the teachers who are involved because without the teachers, it wouldn't happen. And so we're very fortunate to have such great teachers in our buildings. And parents, congratulations to all of you for your students being so successful and doing a great job in school. So thank you. We will take a few-minute recess. If you'd like to stay, you're more than welcome to, but we also understand that people probably have homework and things to do. So thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to receive the consent, to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion, the school committee approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next is old business, the cell phones. Georgia, you want to talk about that?
Yes, I wanted to turn this over to school committee member Greg Hewitt. I know that we had discussions about use of cell phones. So Greg, if you wanted to update us, and I know there's going to be a continuation of discussions because there's still a lot more work that we want to be able to do and get more feedback.
Thank you. When I looked at the policy, a lot of the things aren't enforceable. This policy, in my opinion, should be about keeping our students safe and minimizing disruptions. So we basically have a 7-hour period for the school day. And a lot of the things with the cell phones, the negative things, bullying, drug deals, inappropriate photography, those are all things that cell phones can be attributed to in schools. And I think our policy, when we develop it, needs to address those things. One of the things that I saw in here was that on the teachers, and I'd like to get a lot of the teachers' input on this, is there's examples where there's exceptions in the policy where students can have a cell phone. And I'd like to see a lesson plan where a cell phone is required, because my understanding is every student has a computer. So if every student has a computer, what lesson plan is there a requirement for a cell phone? And then for emergencies, I know some parents would say, I want to be able to contact my child if there's an emergency. And I think we need to get the police and fire department reps in here to explain what happens in an emergency. I mean, the last thing you want your child doing in an emergency is trying to find your cell phone or making a call if there was an active shooter or something like that. So I would like to see a policy where we either have all cell phones stored at the beginning of the day and they get the cell phones at the end of the day, or we have a policy where there's no cell phones in the school. And I want teachers and parents to be involved in that decision. But we have a lot of work to do on this, but that's the start.
So I think one of the discussions that we had, that you do have a policy subcommittee of members of the school committee. I think one of the first steps would be that you convene that subcommittee and we invite the stakeholders, the teachers, students, parents, and be able to have a frank discussion. I know that, there's pros and cons of cell phone use, but I think that would be the first step, that you folks decide who the members are of the subcommittee for policy development on the school committee. And then we'll schedule appropriate times where the necessary community members, and of course, we want the teachers, the students and parents to come, and we can seek feedback. I think that would be what my recommendation would be for the next steps. I don't know how the school committee feels about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same, I think we should follow the same way we did the substance abuse policy, and we were able to do a lot of that on Zoom meetings or phone calls. So we don't have to actually physically,
You did via Zoom.
we did
Okay.
via Zoom, via phone calls, and that was very successful. And we had excuse me, we had a set schedule way in advance of, okay, we're gonna do 6 meetings, and in between there was work going on. So Jeff had done that through the high school, so we had done that. So that's something that we can set up.
Okay.
I'm on the
great.
policy subcommittee, so, and I definitely want to be part of that process. So 2 of us, and then we can have an alternate.
And then whatever I can do to help facilitate it,
Yep.
and then we can get this off the ground.
If you would help facilitate actually scheduling the meetings, and we need to get the other stakeholders involved, that would be
Yes.
fantastic.
Yep. So Kiki, we have a lot to do tomorrow.
It doesn't have to be
No, I
tomorrow.
know,
but-
I'm-
I mean, we got the
I'm just
holidays
saying.
coming, so
We do have the
this-
holidays, it'll be
if
after
we can get
that.
a meeting in before the holidays,
Yes.
great. If we can't,
Okay.
we need to have an agenda. We need to be very organized.
Mhm.
And each meeting needs to have we could break that policy down, and if you want to do that, Greg, and define it, that would be great, so that we have some specific goals and objectives to work towards. That way, it's not just so what we did with the substance abuse policy, we broke it down into sections,
Okay.
and it worked out really well doing it that way. We
Okay.
were very productive, and then at the very end, Dr. Heath had everything drafted, and we tweaked it as we went along, but it was
Okay.
very efficient.
Yeah.
We set the meeting times for less than an hour, and we were very focused.
Just a perfect example of this situation too is what happened today.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because within minutes of your note, I was seeing on Facebook, parents sharing texts from their children
Correct.
that they were getting texted.
Yep. And that's why I opted to text
Mhm.
than email, because
We weren't
text,
looking at
usually
our
people
email,
have their
right.
phone, because by email, then you wouldn't have known what was happening at the high school.
Mhm.
I wanted it to be on real time.
Yeah, so we've got
Yes,
perfect
yes,
example.
yeah.
And is that a good thing, a
Right.
bad thing?
Right.
As long as parents are being notified, they need to be notified. And if the only way they're getting notified is through the child's text as opposed to the school sending
Mhm.
out a text saying, hey, this is what's
Right.
happening with
And then we
releasing
did
your
send out
students.
the
Right,
robo
yeah.
call.
Which
Yeah.
is something you have to have. If
Yes.
they didn't have their cell phones.
Yeah, I know I'm part of the ancient school. I was gonna say old, but it's probably ancient. What's wrong with the fact is, I like the policy of no cell phones. I don't know the question of keeping in our lockers. Let's say 100 years ago, they used to call the school and they'd call the office, and the office, if it was a real emergency, we'd go down to get the child and bring them out to the office.
I
Is
think
that
that's
gone
what-
away?
First of all, remember, they don't use lockers anymore.
Yeah.
And we're building a new
Yes.
high school without lockers.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna go on my tangent right now about cell phones, because I have my, as a parent and as an educator, we all have our personal opinions. But I think what we need to do is just look at the facts
Right.
and get the right people involved to be able to see what's best, because we can be sitting up here and have one opinion,
Mhm.
but we need to have the direct communication from the people in the
Teachers and
building
Students.
and
Yep.
where their take is on this, whether it's used for curriculum or not. I would struggle with my child not having their cell phone in their possession. Should it be kept in the backpack? Absolutely. But should it be held someplace? And no, not for an $800 phone. But I think it does need to have controls over it, for sure. And I think that based on this data that we have right here, our principals and teachers are doing an excellent job of monitoring the usage. And the infractions that are on this data right here are insignificant.
Is that because they're not being reported?
Oh, I don't
I
believe,
mean,
I believe they're
I have
being
parents
reported.
tell me that they don't want their kids, or the kids are saying that they don't like going to the bathrooms because of the stuff that's going on in the restrooms.
Well, that's something that we could definitely discuss, for sure. I mean, I understand what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, we need to look at all aspects of it and see what options are. Yeah. But anyway, I think we need to get, there is a lot of work to do, and we can get going on that.
Definitely, we will do that.
Excellent, thank you. All right. Greg, anything else on that?
No, that's
You
it.
good? Okay. New business.
I know Principal Sweet had sent folks, all of you, an email. I know in other districts and in many districts, I know that a student from the high school serves as a representative with the student voice, sits on the school committee, attends all the meetings, does give, input on what happens at the school, does not vote, but is a voice that, a lot of school districts have opted to do. So we did talk to Principal Sweet, and I had indicated that I would bring this to the committee to think about it, what your thoughts are, to be able to have a student representative on the school committee to attend the meetings. Wouldn't be like I would be like an honorary member, but representing the students. So I want to turn it over to you folks to kind of get what your input is. What are your thoughts about having a student?
I think it would be great.
I like the idea as well.
Yes,
I do too. I
Could
think
be a
it's
nice connection for us, a
Yes.
connector
I
too.
agree.
I think we'd have to figure out exactly what role, like
Yes.
if we wanted that person to connect us and how that would go, we go about doing that, but I love the idea.
I think we could definitely put something on the agenda, just like we have old business and new business, we would be able to put student report and add it
Right.
as an agenda item.
One thing I would like to say, I think sounds like a great idea,
Yes.
but I would rotate the student in, maybe serve 3 committee meetings and then another one come in.
I mean, we
A
can
rotation,
definitely look into
rather
that,
than
like,
put somebody on here for the whole year.
But the
So I
consistency is
think-
nice, though.
yeah,
Or
that-
have a
that's
couple
kind of
that
right.
Or
Yeah.
if one can't make it because
Right, they can
they're
have
at
a-
the
Because then
football
you'd
game.
alternate, you
alternate.
could be
Yeah.
yearly. So if the student joins you now, say in January, that student can stay till June,
Mhm.
and then there could be another student for the following year.
Right.
So then you'd be able to, but I think for consistency
Mhm.
and to have that voice, that would be the student that, would come and represent the student population, I think is good. And it's the same person and we'll be able to report back. And I just think it's a great connection that students have with government and to see what a school committee actually does. And you are behind the scenes. I mean, you are the folks that have the budget, which is a huge part, and you ensure that the teachers and the students get what they need each and every day through the superintendent, of course, through our administrators and teachers. But I just think it gives them a different perspective instead of being in isolation. It's the very same thing with the superintendent. When I was superintendent Lincoln, people knew who I was, just like they do Rosemary, that they knew who we are. We weren't just in an ivory tower. We were in the schools. We were participating in various activities. I just think it's a great connection, but I think taking it to the next level with the school committee is even better. It kind of gets the whole full circle.
I'm not disagreeing with you,
Yes.
but I think maybe we put them on, we have two of them. And at the end of 3 or 4 months, we come up for a vote to have another one and you can serve 2 terms or, which is.
Well, let's
Yeah,
see what we
you-
can
you
talk.
might
I want to
wanna have-
Talk to the
Donna, speak
principal and-
principal and
see
see
what-
Fast on what they
if I
think
could,
is
I'd
the
like
best
to
way
circle
do
back with the principal
Mhm.
to get her input. And then we can kind of talk about the
Oh, yeah.
specifics at the
Mhm.
next
Well,
meeting.
I'm definitely not against it, but
Yes.
sometimes you might have an individual that might not work out.
Right.
And she's done it before.
Yes, she
admitted
has.
we
Yes, she
chatted
has
about
in
it.
other districts.
Yeah, so
Yes.
she would know what she.
She knows a
Yes.
bit about it.
All right, I think it's a
Perfect.
good idea.
Okay. Next on the agenda under new business, as everyone knows in the world of special ed, it's hard to forecast what our population will look like day to day. Lisa Burkett has indicated that right now our preschool numbers are starting to increase significantly, which brings us to asking the school committee to provide an unbudgeted halftime preschool. So, we have an AM and a PM preschool. Right now, we're looking to add an AM preschool in order to meet the needs of our students. Everyone knows with preschoolers, we work very closely with our child outreach coordinator and early intervention. Once a student turns 3 years old, the early intervention point person is talking to the school department many months in advance. But as soon as the child turns 3, it is our obligation under federal law to ensure that we provide adequate services. Seems that a lot of students right now are turning 3, and we're going to need to provide them with a free, appropriate public education. And that means that Middletown right now has a lot of students that are turning 3, and we need to add an additional preschool class. So I'm asking the school committee to accept and to approve an unbudgeted preschool position for the upcoming year as we go on. I think it'll be probably from January on.
We have a group of kids who are.
Is that a state or federal?
Oh, it's federal and state. We have federal law. Yes, if you want to use that, but it is federal law, special ed, where to educate students under federal law from 3 years old to 22. It becomes non-negotiable. An IEP is a binding legal document. So once a student has an IEP with whatever services that are indicated in the IEP, it is the school district's responsibility to ensure a free, appropriate public education. So it's
And how are
something.
these, how are they brought to our attention?
They're brought to our attention with the 3-year-olds. We work with early intervention. So early intervention through the hospitals, a lot of
Okay,
times
yeah.
children
And
are
doctors and
identified and
hospitals.
diagnosed.
Or
So
preschools
or
like-
preschools, but a lot of
Yep.
times when they're turning 3 and they've, been in a very restrictive setting already, now it becomes the public school's responsibility to educate. And at this point in time, it just seems that there's a lot of students that are
Yeah,
turning
no,
3
I
right now that,
understand that, the
right,
requirement,
yes,
just like how are
yes,
they getting
yes, they
identified?
are getting
Because
through a lot of
3-year-olds-
different
Not all
avenues.
3-year-olds are in
Yes,
daycare,
it
not
can
all
be,
3-year-olds, so maybe a
correct.
doctor.
Pediatrician,
Pediatrician,
Yep.
I was gonna say, it could
Pediatrician.
be
Okay.
parental,
yes,
my child's.
outside testing.
Right.
So there's a lot of avenues that bring us to this, but then under law, we have to educate the
When
student.
early intervention is involved, that child already has an
Right,
IEP.
right,
So
right.
that IEP just goes right in and it's a
Carries
very
over.
easy transition.
Mhm.
The process of an outside referral or parental referral, then that process starts from the beginning and then the screenings are done and everything is done. Whereas early intervention already has that information already all ready to go. So the child's just transitioning into a classroom.
Right, as soon as they
That's-
turn.
Right.
as
yeah,
soon as they
they
turn
turn
3.
3. Yes,
Uh,
he become
it-
the point
Is
person.
the three, is that, or 1 September, they have to be
Nope.
three by
No,
1
no,
Whenever they
It's
turn
their
three.
third
They
birthday. Turn 3 in July, or they turn
Doesn't
3
matter.
in June or February, it does not
Yep.
matter. That's
Whatever their
when the
birthday-
Okay,
education,
that was,
that's a good
I
idea.
was
It's not
wondering-
kindergarten.
It's not
Yeah,
the
it's not
same
like
as
a
a September
kindergarten
1
rule.
cutoff date.
Right, yeah. Special ed's very different. It's when the child turns 3, when their birthday is.
No matter when in the year.
Yeah.
And that's the difficult part is that you can have a
can't
child
forecast.
turning 3 all throughout the year, and then that's how these classes get
Happening.
filled
Filled
because
up,
those referrals are going in and you have to provide for them if they
You have to.
require the
Correct.
services.
Kind of what's happened up till this point is that we've had, and Erica Bulk is here,
Yes.
the preschools in her building. We've added students as they've turned 3, but now we're full
Reached the
and we
cap.
can see, we can forecast ahead through early intervention, who's coming up. That doesn't include the 3-year-olds who are, or 4-year-olds whose
Right.
parents are going through referral processes and things like that. But we do know for sure that we have multiple students who are going to be turning 3 quickly. So
So
that's
are
why
they
we said
not,
January.
not there yet? Are they there now or are they
So
coming in?
they're coming in.
January.
Yep,
In January.
They're coming in
So we
January.
still have
Yep.
to, once you approve this, then we have to put out to hire a teacher
Yes.
assistant, get any equipment or resources that we need to be able to furnish the room.
And we have to do that, but the
Yes.
funding for that?
I was just gonna ask that next
It's
question.
unbudgeted, and that's when Mrs. Miller will work her magic.
So now it's time to
Um,
pull a rabbit
yeah.
out of the hat.
Yes.
We're right now running a positive variance in salaries. And we're going to do a deep dive on that. But the good news about this preschool teacher is because it's coming in January, it'll be like a 0.25 because it's a 0.5 for half the year.
Mhm.
So won't have that much of an impact in this year's budget. And we're going to have to make this work. Something's going to have to be cut, but we will make it work.
So
Do
I'm
you think we'll
asking.
have difficulty finding someone?
There, I'll be honest with you, Wendy, I believe that's the trend. We're still
Challenge,
looking for
yeah.
a speech and language pathologist. We have other positions like teacher assistants. It's going to be another challenge. I guarantee it will be.
How many students in the preschool classrooms?
Right now, we have 9 in the AM, right?
10.
10 in the AM, we added 1. And the PM is about the same. They're both pretty much full. They're full,
And what's the
there's no
teacher,
more at the,
what's the ratio? What,
Because we're
oh,
looking.
in terms
for
of,
TA.
what's the
Yeah.
teacher-student ratio?
so we
Depends
have,
on the needs too, right?
Right.
well, we staff it with 1,
big question that we need to look at the district is that some of the needs coming in are
becoming.
inconsistent,
Mhm.
and not one all, it's one
Mhm.
program. So, the preschool room has been very challenging.
You gotta speak up, Erica.
I said
Yeah.
the preschool room has been very challenging this year with the need, and we're down in Sunday.
Yeah.
Right.
And they've been making
It's
it
not
work,
for
but
lack of
it's-
trying to get a TA. We're even going through agencies trying to obtain a TA. Trying to also obtain a speech and language pathologist through an agency. It's just, you bang your head against the wall. It's very frustrating. So is this going to be a challenge for a preschool teacher? I believe it will be. Yep.
Are we talking pre-K? Are we talking pre-K with
Preschool.
students that have an
Preschool.
IEP?
Preschool
preschool,
3-year-olds that have an
3
IEP,
3
not
and maybe
4-year-olds.
4.
Pre-K is 4. Pre-K is 4 years old. That's the year before kindergarten.
Right.
This is the year before that of preschool, which they're 3. So it's a
Okay,
big difference.
But they have an IEP
Have an
already,
IEP.
Yes.
more than likely.
They do have
They
an
have
IEP.
to
They
have-
have to have an IEP. They must have an IEP.
They're special ed students.
Right.
They're not,
I got
Right.
you.
We
Yes.
will also be
Yes.
advertising for peers for this
Right.
program too, because it is considered an integrated
Right.
program, that it's peers and typical peers and special education
well, how many
students.
peers would you bring in?
As many as we can. That's also been challenging this year.
How many peers do we have in the preschool and pre-K now?
I
Not
don't think
many.
you have just
4.
1 or 2. Was
2
it
in the morning and 2 in the afternoon.
afternoon.
1,
1 in the morning.
and 2 in the afternoon.
And pre-K's in the afternoon. 4-year-olds are afternoon, 3-year-olds in the morning.
They are, but we've also had to mix
Mix.
a little bit
Of 3 and 4
of
year olds.
3 and 4s together.
Mhm.
It has been, I mean, I will say
Sub for an hour yesterday, I was exhausted.
I know.
pre-K has been challenging.
Yes,
A lot of needs.
there is.
And they've, Erica and her team over there have been,
They've done
they've
it.
had 1
awesome
teacher
job.
and 1 TA, how many weeks? 2 or 3?
Yep.
At least, and it's,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's not easy. it's not easy and they're making it work the best that they can, but it's been challenging. But these kids are coming up and we have to provide them with enough support or they're not going to be successful. That's if we can give them a foundation at three and 4, then we hope when they get to K, we're setting them up for more success.
Yes.
We have a meeting next week.
Yeah.
I want to hear this.
Yeah.
Come on. Other people can't hear you if you don't use the microphone.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Just to let you know, there's some push coming from RIDE, coming very soon to a preschool next to you, that has a lot of initiatives of what needs to be done and documented and coming in and observing and meeting them, Bright Stars.
Yeah,
And
we had
then
that in Lincoln.
they're also working with partnerships to really start the foundation from 3 and 4-year-olds and really getting that in place so kids have a strong foundation before you're coming into kindergarten. So there was a lot of curriculum and SEL needs and a lot of support coming down. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was listening to it, I was like, it's a lot of work. It's gonna require a lot of funding, but some very strict guidelines coming down for pre-Ks in schools.
You're talking public pre-K for all, or you're talking for the integrated classrooms?
They did both
Right now, yeah.
because some districts do have it.
Because we have it for special ed. We had it in Lincoln for special,
But for us, it
especially
was-
preschool.
we
For
don't
us,
have
it would be
Stars.
our integrated programs.
But I've been saying this
Yeah.
for years and years and years that
Yeah,
public
that's
pre-K
good.
is coming.
Mhm.
And it's going to be an initiative and they're going to give us some funding temporarily,
Mhm.
just like they did when kindergarten became full day.
Mhm.
And then that gets stripped out from underneath us and the district the municipality has to fund the dollars. You know what, with all of the bond and everything in the building, it's one of those things. I mean, obviously this is my expertise of pre-K
Yeah.
and preschool and toddlers. So I know firsthand that it starts from the beginning because I have plenty of referrals that go.
I was gonna say, you know what
You
the
know.
typical.
I know what the process.
Typical
Yes, you do.
Right.
3-year-old looks like.
So, I think it's something that people really need to be aware of, that this is coming. And we were discussing the bond and the buildings and what was going to happen, the numbers that some people were coming out with saying this is going to be their potential pre-K in the future. My numbers were 75 children larger than what they
Yeah,
were.
I think if
estimating.
we're looking at that
large
having a
number.
pre-K, it would mirror what our kindergarten looks like.
Mhm.
That's what I think.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
I agree.
I agree. And how many kindergarten do we have?
7 total. You have 3.
Yep, I have 3 at my school and there's
Hold
4, but we're all completely full.
Full.
So
And you're
80
20.
and 60, so 140 we have,
Yeah.
but we usually have 80 and 80.
They have 160.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty much full at both.
Yeah, we're
Forest and
completely,
Aquidneck, I
yeah.
believe are.
Well, I think this is really important. I think we have to support it. Obviously, it's required by the state, but I think that we need to figure out, Lori, thank you for juggling numbers and making it work. So,
I think Lisa, maybe Courtney, and I don't mind helping and you, we should probably do a presentation of what it's gonna look
we
like,
could
because
show
I
you
think
what it's supposed to
Yes,
look
it's
like.
coming
Great
like
idea.
June
Yes, you're
this
right.
June of 24.
25.
25,
Oh, I would love that presentation. Can you
Yeah,
plan that for
But it's,
January?
Sure.
Well,
To do.
I mean, that way it's get the holidays, if not February.
No.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, we
because there's
can
a
work on
couple of, there's a couple, next week there's one, there's a couple of.
Okay.
In-person ones.
informational Sessions coming up, so.
And I have to say, another thing that we need to consider, to find a special ed pre-K teacher
Mhm.
is like finding a needle in a haystack, because
Exactly.
most colleges around here do not offer special ed
Yeah.
pre-K. Special ed starts K and goes up, or high school and goes up, but the pre-K is
Very-
bitty bitty,
Very challenging.
very challenging to find.
So true.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
All right, next is the
So-
calendar.
And next is the calendar. I did ask that you folks look at the calendar for the year. So what we've provided you with is the school committee meeting dates from January of 2024 to December of 2024. And that is in your packets.
And I know that we're supposed to vote on that, but I
Yes,
mentioned that
yes.
February 15th is not gonna work for me. So, if it's far enough in advance, if we could move it to the potentially February 12th, a Tuesday. That works for people when we can get this calendar solidified tonight.
Either works.
Would
for
that
me.
change work for everyone? Because we can make that change then,
I'm sorry, not the 12th, the 13th. Sorry, Tuesday, the 13th.
Tuesday, the 13th.
That way we're not doing it on the 14th Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
Does that work?
It's fine with me. It's not ringing a bell, but.
Okay.
So when they
That's
vote-
right before the school
It's va-
vacation,
vac-
because the
right before
that's why we
vacation.
wanted to make sure that when we were scheduling it, that we did not interfere with the February vacation, the April vacation. And of course, November for
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
I'll find it.
Yeah, no, but Thanksgiving's late next year.
Late, yeah, that's why we checked that as well. Should be in your packet. Did
Yep.
you get
I
that?
find it.
All right. So that when, if
So,
we are all
fine.
agree with that, then we can vote on this tonight if everybody's
we
good
are.
with changing that February date.
February
We got it.
13th.
Yeah, February
Update
13th.
to it.
Okay.
When I get to it.
All right.
Okay, so we'll make that change,
Mhm.
and then when you vote on it after, but then we'll ensure when we send it out, and then we're gonna also post it on the website.
Okay, next. Anything else?
That concludes, yes, thank
Did
you.
you
Actually-
change February 15th?
February
The
15th to February
13th.
13th.
Tuesday, and just add that when we get to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can vote on it now as is because we adjusted it before we got there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, next is action items. Can I have a motion on homeschooling?
I make a motion, the school committee approve the homeschooling request 23-24-33.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Can I have a motion on the attendance and student success coordinator job description, second reading?
Make a motion, the school committee approve the attendance and student success coordinator job description, second reading.
second,
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion on the school business administrator job description?
Make a motion, the school committee approve the school business administrator job description.
second,
Any discussion? I just want to ask, so once we approve this position, this is being posted.
It's
But-
not, and I'm gonna talk about that with we've been meeting with the town. And we all agree that the superintendent should be selected first. Then you would kind of, once you have your timeline, then you'd post the business administrator, because the new superintendent should be the individual that chooses the businessman. You don't want to do it backwards.
Perfect.
So that's why we're gonna hold off, but we wanted to at least get the job description on the docket and approved.
Excellent. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have a motion on the maintenance and grounds supervisor job description.
Make a motion, the school committee approve the maintenance and ground supervisor job description.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I have a motion on the standing orders.
Motion-
FY 24 update.
Make a motion, the school committee approve the updated standing orders.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion on the unbudgeted FY 24 preschool classroom halftime?
Make a motion, the school committee approve the addition of an unbudgeted preschool classroom halftime for FY 24.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Can I have a motion on the resolution for bill approval?
Make a motion, the school committee approve the resolution for bill approval.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion on the budget adjustments?
Make a motion, the school committee approve the recommended FY 23 budget adjustments.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion on the executive search for superintendent?
Make a motion, the school committee immediately approve to secure an RFPs for the executive search for the superintendent's position.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion on the terminate employment relationship?
Make a motion, the school committee terminate the employment relationship with a custodian.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I have a motion on the December 2023 school committee meeting date?
Make a motion, the school committee approve changing the December 2023 school committee meeting date from the 21st to the 14th.
The 12th.
Yes, it's the 12th.
12. Oh, to the
12th.
the
Should we?
21st to the 12th?
Yes. Should
Yeah,
we,
One is gonna be on the 7th.
but
right,
should
and then
we We don't have to change that. We're just adding that.
You're just adding,
Okay,
yes.
so we're just changing it. I never voted
then
on
you-
changing
you-
a date before. That's next.
So you're
Oh,
moving
okay,
it
it's
to
right,
a
'cause it's different.
Tuesday,
21st
the 12th.
to the
Tuesday,
12th,
the
Tuesday, the
12th.
12th.
Second,
And that will be at 4:30.
Are we setting a date for December the 7th too?
We will, but that, well, let's just vote on this first.
I got you.
All right, second, we have a motion, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion on the 2024 school committee meeting calendar?
Make a motion, the school committee approve the 2024 school committee meeting calendar
Do we need to say as amended? Yeah. as amended.
as amended. The,
Or
the meeting for February 15th meeting is to be February 13th, Tuesday.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Can I have a motion on the resignations?
Make a motion, the school committee approve the following resignations. I read them, not her.
You read them.
Okay, Kelly McCoy, 0.8 6-hour teaching assistant, Aquidneck, effective 10/28/23. Sarah Tarducci, 4-hour teacher assistant, Forest Avenue, effective 11/21/23.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So I just want to say, yes, we are going to add a December 7th meeting at 4 o'clock, but we didn't have to vote on that because that's just adding a
Well,
meeting.
we moved on to 5 days late.
Yeah.
5 days early.
We'll have 2 meetings in December.
Just, Teresa, I just want to know that I will not be here for the December meeting.
The 12th?
Right.
Okay,
I'll be away that week.
okay.
On the 7th.
We'll look at what is happening there
Is
for
it
business and
4:30
see if something.
But I
it's
should be
important.
here on the 7th
Okay,
and then, and just, maybe follow up an email or something. I'll be out of the country.
when are you coming back? Oh, were you going to be back on the 15th?
No,
Oh, you weren't going to be at the December meeting either way.
I will,
Okay.
no, I was going to be here on the 21st.
Oh, yeah.
Since it was the 21st.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I would have been here on the 21st. but I
Okay.
will not be
Well,
here
what
that-
happened was that's so close to Christmas that,
I was surprised when I saw it, but
Mhm.
yeah.
really.
Okay, so either way, no matter what that week, you would have been out. Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
This
Gone
is
for
all
a week.
depending, no early snowfall.
We're not having snow until after January 1st. That's my plan. All right, next, moving on is to the superintendent reports.
Okay, first and foremost, I wanted to be introducing, I know you folks have done this in the past, is actually enrollment reports. I think it's important that you have the most up-to-date enrollment reports. I know Kiki's going to put it on the large screen and it is in your packet. The enrollment reports, I just wanted to kind of review each school. Starting with Aquidneck. Right now, the total enrollment for Aquidneck as of November 15th, 2023, 304 students. At Forest is 314. At GLA, 281. At the middle school, Gaudet Middle School is 454. And at Middletown High School is 560 students. Outplaced students, and this is something that I'm going to ask, we have to break it down even more. Outplaced students encompasses a lot of things. We have to have just a line for out of district, because you certainly don't have 146 special ed students out of district. So this could be deceiving. And when I met with Kim and Lisa, we've discerned that it breaks up into special ed, this number of 148, special ed, CTE, speech and language by appointment only. So that doesn't give really an accurate read to you as well as the public and to the staff. So we're going to drill down and kind of break it down in a different way. So when you have your enrollment reports, you have things at your fingertips. So if someone asks you how many students are out of district in special ed, you can say, I think it's 49 right now, because we just started to look at this. I'd like to give you numbers that are going to be quite accurate, especially as you get into budget season and you start preparing this. So we're going to drill this down yet again. And then your homeschooling is 82 students. So your total enrollment as of November 15th is 2,146 students. So this is going to be introduced every month to the school committee and for the public. And the other thing that Lori and I have talked about that's going to start next month is you're going to have a monthly financial report that Lori will be presenting to you, just to ensure that, there's always transparency. You know what's happening. You know what the ebbs and flows are, because everyone knows there's a lot of budget busters. We just talked about special ed tonight, but it could be something else and another day. So I just think it's really important to have these discussions on a monthly basis. So that's going to be something that's going to be new on your on your December 12th school committee agenda. Does anyone have any questions on the enrollment? Okay, and you'll be getting that, as I said. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations to the students. I mean, you just have a wonderful community and you should be very proud. So I'm glad that you celebrated them. But I also want to say that in my time here, I've been very impressed with the faculty, the staff, of course, your administrative team as well, and the students. I've said that, you know, coming from the north, where I spent my entire career in Lincoln, I've been very, very impressed with the Middletown community. And I think you guys should be proud as well. And of course, you have exciting things to look at with the bond passing and the new middle school and high school and the changes. So I think wonderful things are happening, but we just have to sometimes pause and celebrate the people that are in front of you that do the yeoman's work each and every day. So I wanted to say a shout out to everyone that makes up the Middletown Public Schools, and they're lucky to have the 5 of you because you do a lot to be able to move the district forward. Now I want to talk about what's happening with basically the Middletown High School. This morning, we did get a call. Poe's going to get into the details. Unfortunately, I had to do an early dismissal. I needed to make a quick decision with Donna Sweet to ensure everyone's safety because they had already been outside for close to 45 minutes. We did have the fire department come as well as Rhode Island Energy. It became lots of things, but the smell was quite overwhelming and we just couldn't keep the faculty and students in there any longer. Poe, if you want to get into the specifics of what happened with the units on top of the roof,
Try to
the
keep it
rooftop
as
units.
simple as possible.
Yes,
First, I want to mention this was not a gas leak.
no, what
This was
was,
a purging of a unit up on the rooftop. So at no time there was no
You
danger of
don't
any,
use your
any
microphone.
explosions or anything like that. The only danger was just that nasty smell that everybody had to inhale. So basically what you have is on the roof, there were 2 units side by side. One of the units misfired, which is not, it's common for units to do that. But when they do that, they have a safety procedure it goes through, and what it does, it'll purge all the gas out of the unit so that when it refires, it doesn't have a full tank. Unfortunately, when that purged out, the wind just happened to hit at the right angle, carried the gas over to another unit that had just started up and was sucking in air to bring into the building, but kind of forced the gas to be brought into the building. It's not anything that was wrong with the equipment. It's just was the perfect circumstances. It's happened 4
4
times
times, you
in
said, in
about
20
20
years.
years now. Where it's just the wind was right. The 2 units fired up in the exact sequence that they didn't need to. And that's what happened. But unfortunately, we have to bring in the fire department just to make sure it's not an issue. We brought in the gas company. They did a complete test of the building. We did a reverse pressure test to make sure there were no leaks. So the building is completely safe for tomorrow.
Oh, good. It
This
just
was not
smells, right,
avoidable.
just-
There's
right.
nothing we could do to prevent it from happening. It's just a series of unfortunate events that happened in the right order, and you had to cancel school for that reason.
And I'm reaching out to RIDE to seek a waiver because this was an emergency. I had to make sure that everyone was safe. So I'm awaiting what the next steps are, but I did contact RIDE today. And so I'll be updating everybody in the near future. The final update before I get into personnel, you all know that we've had very productive meetings with the town talking about the the reconfiguration of the finance department. And I have to say, Lori and I and Michelle have attended the meetings bi-weekly. And of course, we're also doing audit meetings and we're really moving in the right direction. I think great things are going to be happening. And we're looking at this all to take place July 1st. And it kind of coincides, you get your new superintendent, the business manager, and then the roles will be established. Right now, we're going through a whole checklist of what will be on the town side and what's going to be on the school side. And I think it's been really, a really great dialogue that we've had. And I've been very impressed with the collegiality and the collaboration that's happening with the schools and the town. So I'm confident that that will continue. Okay, so now it leads me to the personnel. Okay, hires effective October 16th, 2023. Alexandra Mignonelli, sophomore class advisor at Middletown High School. Kelly Brennan, Beyond the Bell teacher, K through 8.
You
Rob-
can just read all the names and then,
Oh, I don't have to say
no, well, you say
Oh,
one,
okay,
you can just
cluster.
say it once.
Okay,
Cluster,
so
yeah, cluster.
these individuals that I'm reading right now are going to be Beyond the Bell teachers. Kelly Brennan, Robin Borges,
Next one.
Jennifer Cavallaro, Alea Mayer, Lori Oliveira, Carly Rodriguez Baptista, Skylar Souza, Jessica Tucker, Abigail Williamson, Kristen.
Nope, stop. Those are all K-8 GLA. The next group will be
It's gonna
K-8.
be K-8, the middle school. Okay, Kristen Pacheco, Stephanie Sims, Carrie Walsh, Susan Lays, Jane Violet, Angela Kelly, Richard Taylor, Kelly Butala, Trina Bona, and Kim Saputo. Next, effective November 2nd, Rebecca Silvera will be serving as the Beyond the Bell Coordinator for Forest Elementary. Effective November 3rd, Marissa Conley will be the Child Outreach Screener for Student Services. Higher effective date, November 6, 2023, and these are Beyond the Bell teachers K-8 at Gaudet Middle School, Lori Hanlon, Caroline Kaur, Sophia Parati, and Casey Wright. Higher effective November 9th, and this will be at Gaudet Middle School, Joshua Began and Julia Rinaldi Young. Higher effective date, November 14th, 2023, and these are data support coaches at Middletown High School, Maylee Boyle and Pamela Souza. The next higher effective November 15th, Julia, and these are Beyond the Bell teachers K-8, Juliana Holmes and Elizabeth Clark.
Forest Avenue.
I'm sorry, Forest Avenue K-8. The next one is higher effective November 27th, 2023. Kevin Lendrum is the boys varsity basketball coach at the high school. Riley Brennan, boys JV basketball coach at the high school. Rebecca Dugan, varsity swimming coach at the high school. Shannon Farrell, varsity gymnastics coach at the high school. Johnny Shield, varsity co-op ice hockey coach at Middletown High School. Jason Rushton, varsity wrestling coach at Middletown High School. Mackenzie Silvera, assistant girls varsity basketball coach at the high school. And Owen Keenan, girls varsity basketball coach at the high school. Higher effective date, December 4th, 2023. Randy Butler, boys basketball coach at Gaudet Middle School. And Eric Curtin, girls basketball coach at Gaudet Middle School. That concludes my update. And next, I'm going to turn this over to Mrs. Miller for a financial update.
So I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. So the good news is we are working really well with the town. The audit is on track. It will be finished before the end of the year, which is when it's due. And we're really excited about that. We could not have done it without them.
Oh,
They
yeah.
really gave us
Big
a
help.
lot of assistance, and we needed it because we were so far behind because of the lack of staffing in that office. So I'm really excited about that. We're starting to work on the budget, and this year we're going to be doing the staffing in the actual accounting software.
Mhm.
The town will be assisting us with that as well. We do have some experience with it. They were doing it, I guess, 6 years ago, and then they moved to a different way of doing it, but really putting the staffing into the budget and doing the forecasting is so much easier because then it automatically goes into the accounting software and it's not cutting and pasting and uploading, and it's crazy. So we're really excited about that. And I have been looking at the operations in the business office and how things are flowing. And we will have some more recommendations for you at the next school committee meeting about things that we feel we need to change, and based on legal, we need to change. So we're busy. It seems like that I get to work, and before I know it, it's dark and it's time to go home, and I don't know where the day is gone.
It's productive.
But yeah, and I am watching the budget. I'm cautiously optimistic we're going to end the year with in the black. But we have this unbudgeted preschool. I still have to cover some transportation. We've had some issues in transportation. So it's just a balancing game. And we got to hope that even though we might have snow this winter, it's not going to be cold, because I don't want to have a lot of heat. I don't want to have a lot of electricity. So we're going to keep a good thought about that. But again, we're making progress. I'm feeling energized. And as Georgia said, having the town there to help us is
Really
just amazing.
positive.
So again, and kudos to the business office staff that they
Yes.
kept it together this long. They rock.
Thank you, Lori. Next, I'm going to ask Elsa Burkett to give us a student services update.
We are still searching for a speech and language therapist that we need desperately. We thought we had someone and now we do not. So that is still out. We're still looking for teacher assistants. We have had some recently apply, so we're hoping, fingers crossed, that comes through in the next week or so. Our Wilson level 1 certification, we currently hire outside to have Wilson.
Change that.
So what we're really looking to do is to build our own capacity, and we do have teachers who have signed up. They started the level 1 certification. I'd like to use our own staff to do this and not look outside. Yeah, I couldn't mandate anyone to do this, but we have had some very energetic people doing this. So I'm really excited about that. On November 7th, on election day, we started our Medicaid training. So that's through a company called Relay. It is going to be challenging and new information for our case managers, but I am scheduling times to set up small group for all of the schools to meet with. Her name is Jessie from Relay to help start logging service time, and that is money brought back to the district.
That turns into revenue, and that's a
That
good
is
thing.
what we want.
Yeah.
And I will be meeting, I've been meeting with the schools on paperwork, pieces like that, things that they were not responsible for before, but are responsible for now. So going through that, and I'm going to be meeting with the principals next week, just in regards to what it means to be an LEA for meetings and the responsibilities of that. And beyond that, we're just come and visit us upstairs. We're getting there.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Thank you. And finally, Poe, if you'd like to update the school committee on facilities.
Sure. Today I met with some representatives of the PGA. We're looking to rent out parking lots at Gaudet and the high school for the US Senior Open. That's happening next June, last week of June. So for once I get to bring Laurie some money instead of.
Usually coming to tell me about something else that's broken.
So in a preliminary, we just toured the grounds today with a few of the representatives of the PGA. We're gonna meet again in January to start talking about some numbers and start finalizing some plans, but it's nice to bring some money into the district instead of spending it for once.
Nice.
I also today started with talking to the architects for the new high school about a plan to do the 5-year capital improvement plan for the rest of the district. We're gonna take a fresh look at everything and come up with a nice 5-year plan that the town can support and hopefully get some repairs done to the buildings that we are gonna end up keeping. So that was nice to get that started because I've been waiting a little over a year for that to happen because I couldn't do anything till the bond passed, knew what direction we were gonna be going into before we could start talking about some big repairs. So I have a fine line to walk because some of it's going to be in my budget, some of it's going to be in capital improvements, and some of it's going to be out of the bond. So we have to figure out which repairs we're going to do. That's what I have.
Thank you, Poe. This concludes the superintendent's reports.
Can I get a motion to receive the superintendent reports?
Make a motion, the school committee receive the superintendent reports.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, reports of officers and committees. Anybody have anything? I just want to say, Tam, you can chime in. The building committee met right after election day, when the next day was our last building committee. We still will continue to meet every other week. They are moving right along now that the bond is passed. They are working really hard to get the stage 2 application prepared, which needs to be submitted by February 15th. And then, so in between now and then, that's the primary focus, but they still are going to continue meeting with faculty and administrators and different people to keep that design process going. So that's where we're at right now. I covered that pretty well, or did I miss something?
No, I did miss one thing. Dave's not here. The update on the
Oh, the
copiers.
copiers.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yes. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lori will, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so the copiers are still, it's still kind of in limbo because the contracts could not get past legal. There were some issues with the contracts because we did an MPA. It referenced the state of Rhode Island, and they didn't feel like that was good. And the company said that they could not get the state to change the contracts. So we have gone down a different route. We found another purchasing cooperative that we think we can use. It's Omnia. It used to be US Communities. We just got an email from legal tonight that said they reviewed the contract, and if we can make some changes to that, then we can probably go ahead and do this. In the interim, if that doesn't work out and we have to go back out to bid, we have gotten the current company, Rico, to provide us two copiers for the elementary schools for a short-term lease for like 2 or 3 months while we do this. So we will solve the problem at the elementary schools while we solve the problem with the contract. So we do have a fail-safe for that. So we'll be able to comply with the law and still have copy machines at the elementary schools.
When are we gonna be able to get those in there?
What's that?
When are we gonna be able to get those in there?
As soon as David just got the email today that they were available, so we will be on the phone tomorrow. It will be a red phone when we call them.
Yes.
So don't worry,
Yeah.
but ASAP, if I can get them in even next week, that's my goal.
It's
So.
been
David
far too
also-
long.
David also mentioned there were repairs made and that currently,
So what happened was when we were in the throes of the contract negotiations, they did send a repairman out October 27th. And he was able to, hold it together with bubble gum and paper clips.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing that it's running, but it's not
Nuts.
reliable.
It's not.
So
No.
this is why getting the two machines is really the best
Important.
alternative while
Yeah.
we figure out, while we get our ducks in a row to make sure that, and then once we have the signed contract, we'll be good for 5 years.
Exactly.
Thank
And then
you.
this should never happen again.
no,
All right. Thank you for bringing that up. That's good.
And just one thing about the Middletown Prevention Coalition, I know Lori was talking about, we had our family day and they normally sell the s'mores, but because they canceled the fires because of the wind,
Okay.
they were unable to fundraise with the s'more selling, which is where they get their money for the kids to go to the leadership
Leadership
conference in
conference.
DC.
Yes.
So I know she's looking at the kids doing some fundraising, and just asked whether the committee itself had any money. I said, we don't have any money, but to let
I
us
did-
know when
yeah,
you're doing
I met with her.
fundraising,
Yes.
because of course we would all be supportive
Right.
of that. So I'm sure you were talking with her.
Did meet with her today,
Good.
and she did indicate that because this is a wonderful opportunity
Mm-hmm.
for like about 8 or 9 high schoolers. But she told me, and I've spoken to the town administrator as well, that the town would be financing it.
They're
That-
gonna,
that's
they're
really
gonna help us
strongly
with
considered.
financing and they're
Yes.
gonna ask the
Right,
parents to do
right.
some financing as
Which is
well.
good.
But if
So-
she does do any kind of
Yes,
fundraising,
well, I'll
please let us
definitely let you know.
Yeah.
She was gonna get back to me because I needed some more information about
Right,
this trip, which I think
yeah.
is great. It's gonna take place, I think, in January.
Yes, and I
February.
think that
Yeah.
Principal Sweet has already kind of
Yes.
given the approval. So
yes,
yeah,
yeah.
trying to just move forward with that. But
It's a
that's one of the things
wonderful
we talked
group.
about
Yeah.
after the family day. And I think family day, even as cold as it was, we probably had over 1,000 people
Wow.
come through. I was
Wow.
ticking at the
That's
gate. Now, some
great.
of them were only there for a short time and
Right.
then left because it was really cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, they was
That's
That's
a lot
great.
that's a lot of
That's really
people.
great. Yeah.
They
It's
said
a
they
lot.
normally get like 15 to 1,800. We had
Wow.
1,800 last year, but
Wow.
it was tough with the change of dates.
Yeah.
For going from Saturday to Sunday, and then Sunday was pretty chilly. So, but a lot of people came and
Wow.
were, getting food, and
Yeah.
a lot of the kids were dancing and stuff. So, good. Face painting was very popular.
I like that.
So, yeah.
All right. Anybody have anything else? All right, I just want to say, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope everybody has a safe, healthy and happy holiday with your family and friends. And we will see you in December. And on that note.
make
this
a
is over.
motion to adjourn from the school committee meeting at 5:50.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.